Welcome to Dark Beacon Chill Mode, a place where science, nature, and philosophy drift together beneath the sound of rain. Every night, a new journey, 1 hour of quiet wonder to help you sleep, study, or simply breathe. No stress, no rush, just the calm heartbeat of the universe. If you enjoy peace with a hint of curiosity, stay a while. There'll be a new story here every day. This is Dark Beacon Chill Mode, where even silence has something to say. Light moves at exactly 299,792,458 meters per second. It is the universe's ultimate speed limit. Nothing, no sound, no signal, no thought, can outrun it. If you could ride alongside a beam of light, you would see time itself begin to melt. Seconds would stretch, distances would flatten, and the universe ahead would shimmer like a mirage. Every photon that ever existed was born and died in the same instant. To light, there is no journey, no waiting, no past or future. From its perspective, it leaves the sun and arrives at Earth in the same breath. For us, that trip takes 8 minutes and 20 seconds. But for the photon, it's immediate. The beginning and the end are one. That's what relativity tells us. Time depends on where you stand and how fast you move through it. Einstein called it space-time, a single fabric of reality where space and time weave together. Move through one, and you bend the other. Every mass, every planet, every atom warps the fabric around it, telling space how to curve and time how to flow. That's why a clock on a mountain ticks faster than one by the sea. That's why time runs slower on a satellite orbiting Earth than it does in your living room. And that's why the GPS in your phone has to account for relativity, just to tell you where you are. Causality, the chain of cause and effect, lives inside that fabric. Every event is a point on the map of space-time, connected to others by the thin thread of light that can reach from one to the next. Anything that happens outside that thread, faster than light could travel, is forever disconnected. It can never influence you. It exists, but not for you. That's the universe's quiet rule. Information moves only at light speed, or slower. Beyond that, even possibility cannot pass. Think of that when lightning flashes in the distance. The light reaches you first, the sound lags behind. Two parts of the same event, separated by the laws of propagation. Everything that happens, everywhere, plays by those same rules. The cosmos is vast, not just in distance, but in delay. What you see through a telescope isn't happening now. It happened years, centuries, millennia ago. When you look up at the Andromeda galaxy, you're seeing light that left before humans existed. You are literally looking into the past. The strange thing is that those distant worlds still exist now. Their present is unfolding even as you watch their history. The light is just taking its time to reach you. And that means our own present, too, will one day be someone else's ancient past, flickering across the void. Right now, a photon reflected from your skin is racing outward at light speed, carrying the image of this moment away forever. In 4 billion years, when Andromeda and the Milky Way finally collide, that tiny flash of you will still be traveling. A ghost in the dark, unbroken, unstoppable. To think about time in the relativistic sense is to abandon the idea of now. The universe doesn't have one single moment. It's a vast, four-dimensional sculpture. Everything that ever happened, everything that ever will, all existing at once, laid out in the geometry of space-time. We move through it like a needle through fabric, perceiving one slice at a time and calling it the present. But the pattern is already there. The future is as real as the past. It's just not illuminated yet. That sounds fatalistic, but it's not. Because within that framework, consciousness itself might be the act of illumination. The beam of awareness moving across the fabric, lighting up each moment as it passes. You are the light tracing its path. The universe becomes real where you experience it. And maybe that's what causality truly is. The rhythm of awareness meeting matter, one moment at a time, always at the speed of light. You can't see the future because your light hasn't reached it yet. You can't change the past because your light has already moved on. But here, in this single bright instant, you are perfectly synchronized with the heartbeat of the cosmos. Light doesn't age. It carries no memory of distance. It simply is. Eternal motion. Timeless existence. And every photon that touches you, every flicker from the rain outside, every glimmer from the screen in front of you, is a tiny messenger from the infinite. The universe is still awake, traveling, reflecting, bending, becoming. And you, sitting here listening, are part of that same motion, that same limit, that same law. The light that finds your eyes tonight left its source long before your ancestors walked the earth. And when it fades, it will continue through you, forever changed by the fact that you noticed it. Life is the rarest and most persistent pattern we know. But maybe it isn't as rare as we once thought. Maybe it's inevitable. A natural consequence of matter given enough time, energy, and patience. 4 billion years ago, Earth was still young. The air was thick with methane and ammonia, the seas dark and restless. Lightning struck through the clouds, ultraviolet light poured down from the newborn sun, and the ocean boiled with potential. Somewhere in that chaos, chemistry began to imitate biology. Simple molecules collided and joined. Some of them learned to copy themselves. And once the pattern of replication appeared, evolution began. That single spark, the ability to preserve information across generations, was the moment matter learned to remember. But maybe it didn't start here at all. Maybe it drifted in from space. Scientists call that idea panspermia, the theory that the seeds of life could travel between worlds, hidden inside asteroids or frozen comets. We found amino acids, the building blocks of proteins, on meteorites that fell to Earth. We've seen complex organic molecules forming in the cold clouds between stars. It's not proof of life, but it's proof that the ingredients are everywhere. Life, it seems, may be the universe's favorite recipe. Some of those molecules could have survived the fiery plunge through our atmosphere and landed in the ancient seas. And if that happened, then life on Earth may have begun as an alien visitor, an immigrant from another corner of the galaxy, which means we might all be the children of wandering dust. Life's story didn't end with single cells. It multiplied, adapted, and diversified, from microbes to plants, from fish to mammals, from mammals to us. And through it all, one element held everything together: carbon. The fourth element on the periodic table, forged in the cores of dying stars. Carbon is the backbone of every known living thing. It's versatile. It can form long chains, rings, lattices, a chemistry of infinite possibility. Silicon, oxygen, nitrogen, they all try, but none match carbon's ability to build complexity out of simplicity. It's the quiet architect of life, the pencil with which the universe sketches minds. If life could happen here, it could happen anywhere. All it needs is warmth, water, time, and the right chemistry. There are billions of planets in our galaxy alone that could meet those conditions. Some circle red dwarfs, their skies dim but stable. Others orbit yellow suns like ours, or wander in the cold between stars, glowing faintly from within. We've already found exoplanets with atmospheres, clouds, even hints of oceans. Soon we may find one that breathes. When that day comes, when we finally detect the chemical signature of alien life, it won't just be a discovery. It will be recognition. A confirmation that we are part of a family we never knew we had. It will mean that life is not the exception, it's the rule. That the universe, given half a chance, will always choose to live. And if life spreads naturally, perhaps intelligence does too. Perhaps there are minds out there, staring back at their own night skies, wondering if they're alone. They might be made of different chemistry, built from silicon, ammonia, or something beyond our imagination. But their thoughts, curiosity, awe, the ache of mystery, would be familiar. Because curiosity is a universal law. It's how the cosmos learns. Maybe they've watched us already, silent and patient, as one young species takes its first steps beyond its cradle. Maybe they're waiting for us to mature, to stop fighting each other and start listening. Or maybe we'll never meet. Maybe our signals will pass like ships in an ocean of stars, missing by centuries or light years, each calling out into the dark. And that's fine, because just by asking the question, we're already part of something larger. The atoms that made your body once floated between stars. The water you drink has travelled across billions of years. The carbon in your bones, the calcium in your teeth, the iron in your blood, all forged in stellar fire. You are, quite literally, the universe made alive. When you breathe, it breathes. When you think, it thinks. And when you dream, it dreams through you. That's That's the final truth hidden behind all the science and wonder. Life is not something that happens in the universe. Life is what the universe does when it's awake. So if one day we find others among the stars, they will not be strangers. They will be another way for the universe to see itself, to feel, to know. And when we look into their eyes, whatever form they take, we'll recognize that we've met before. In the atoms, in the light, in the rain. Because everything that ever lived and everything that ever will began from the same breath. We are all made of one moment. Strep. Even when the stars fade, the universe doesn't sleep. It drifts, it hums, it remembers. The night sky looks still to us, a frozen sheet of scattered light. But that stillness is an illusion. Every point of light you see is moving. Every atom around you is vibrating. Every empty space between galaxies is alive with invisible energy. Somewhere out there, a dying star exhales its final light into the dark. Somewhere else, a newborn world catches its first sunrise. Between them, a vast web of gravity and time quietly rearranges itself, never stopping, never truly resting. The universe doesn't sleep because sleep belongs to things that dream. The cosmos instead flows. Beneath all that motion lies something stranger still. The background hum. Scientists call it the cosmic microwave background, the faint afterglow of the Big Bang. Every second, that whisper of ancient light washes through you, through your room, through the rain itself. You're sitting inside a faint echo of creation. The signal has been traveling for nearly 14 billion years, but it's still here, soft, persistent, and steady. The temperature of that glow is just a few degrees above absolute zero. And yet, it's enough to tell us the universe never truly fell silent. It's still vibrating with the memory of its own birth. So when you close your eyes tonight, and the world seems still, remember, there's motion in the quiet. The walls are made of atoms that dance. The air carries particles flickering in and out of existence. The silence itself is alive. The universe is still awake. And in a way, so are you. Once, long ago, stars filled the sky in numbers we can barely imagine. They burned for billions of years, each a fusion engine of light. But even stars grow tired. They swell into red giants, shed their layers into space, then collapse into white dwarfs, cooling slowly, over unimaginable spans of time. One day, every star will fade to black. Astronomers call them black dwarfs, the final frozen embers of starlight. A universe of quiet ashes drifting in the dark. And yet, even that is not the end. Because deep inside, those dark remnants still hold memory. The atoms inside them still hum with the faintest energy. Gravity still binds them, space still curves around them, and time still moves forward, however slowly. Even when the last sun goes out, the universe itself refuses to sleep. It just becomes subtle, a low, endless heartbeat beneath eternity. In the beginning, there was motion. Even before the first atoms formed, before stars, before galaxies, There was the heartbeat of the void itself. Empty space is never truly empty. It seethes, it flickers. Within every cubic meter of what we call nothing, there's a restless foam of virtual particles, appearing and vanishing too fast to see, too fast to measure, like dreams that never quite form. Physicists call this vacuum energy. It's what stops the universe from collapsing into absolute zero. It's the quiet pulse beneath reality, the rhythm that keeps existence itself from flatlining. You can imagine it as a vast ocean, and everything that exists, stars, planets, light, life, as waves briefly rising above the surface before sinking back into it. The universe's heartbeat isn't loud. It's slow, patient, and eternal. Every oscillation, every flicker of quantum foam is the cosmos reminding itself that it's still here. And perhaps, in some deep way, you feel it too. That subtle hum behind your thoughts, the gentle awareness that never really turns off, even as you drift into sleep. You and the universe share a pulse. The same energy that vibrates between galaxies hums quietly in the atoms that make up your heart. That's the beauty of it. You were never separate from the cosmos. You are one of its heartbeats, temporarily shaped into human form. And when you rest, the universe rests through you. When you breathe in, you're drawing the same particles that once belonged to ancient stars. When you breathe out, you're giving them back to the void that made them. You are part of the endless heartbeat. Long after that first heartbeat, light began to travel. It spread out in all directions, carrying the memory of creation with it. That light, stretched by time, thinned by distance, still fills every corner of space. It's faint, nearly invisible, yet everywhere. We call it the cosmic microwave background, but you could also call it the universe's first lullaby. When our instruments detect it, they hear not silence, but a whisper of warmth. About 2.7 degrees above absolute zero, a cosmic afterglow that never faded. And hidden within it, patterns, ripples, slight variations in temperature that mark the seeds of everything that would one day exist. Galaxies, stars, you. Those ripples were the first structure, the faintest signs of order emerging from chaos. Each time we listen to that ancient hum, we're not just hearing the past, we're hearing continuity, the universe's way of saying, I remember. Imagine that light falling on your skin right now. It's weak, but it's there, passing through walls, air, clouds, even the rain outside. A photon that's been traveling since time began could brush past you this very second and continue on its endless journey, unbothered by your existence, yet gently touching it all the same. That's how connected everything really is. Even here, on a small blue planet beneath clouds and city lights, you are still bathed in the afterglow of creation. The universe has never once stopped shining. It has only learned to whisper. In the beginning, there was motion. Even before the first atoms formed, before stars, before galaxies, there was the heartbeat of the void itself. Empty space is never truly empty. It seethes, it flickers. Within every cubic meter of what we call nothing, there's a restless foam of virtual particles, appearing and vanishing too fast to see, too fast to measure, like dreams that never quite form. Physicists call this vacuum energy. It's what stops the universe from collapsing into absolute zero. It's the quiet pulse beneath reality, the rhythm that keeps existence itself from flatlining. You can imagine it as a vast ocean, and everything that exists, stars, planets, light, life, as waves briefly rising above the surface before sinking back into it. The universe's heartbeat isn't loud. It's slow, patient, and eternal. Every oscillation, every flicker of quantum foam is the cosmos reminding itself that it's still here. And perhaps, in some deep way, you feel it too. That subtle hum behind your thoughts. The gentle awareness that never really turns off, even as you drift into sleep. You and the universe share a pulse. The same energy that vibrates between galaxies hums quietly in the atoms that make up your heart. That's the beauty of it. You were never separate from the cosmos. You are one of its heartbeats, temporarily shaped into human form. And when you rest, the universe rests through you. When you breathe in, you're drawing the same particles that once belonged to ancient stars. When you breathe out, you're giving them back to the void that made them. You are part of the endless heartbeat. Long after that first heartbeat, light began to travel. It spread out in all directions, carrying the memory of creation with it. That light, stretched by time, thinned by distance, still fills every corner of space. It's faint, nearly invisible, yet everywhere. We call it the cosmic microwave background, but you could also call it the universe's first lullaby. When our instruments detect it, they hear not silence, but a whisper of warmth. About 2.7 degrees above absolute zero. A cosmic afterglow that never faded. And hidden within it, patterns, ripples, slight variations in temperature that mark the seeds of everything that would one day exist. Galaxies, stars, you. Those ripples were the first structure, the faintest signs of order emerging from chaos. Each time we listen to that ancient hum, we're not just hearing the past. We're hearing continuity. Every atom in your body is a memory, not a conscious one, not a story you can recall, but a record written in structure and spin. Each proton, each electron, carries the imprint of every collision it's ever endured. When you touch the table beside you, or the air itself, you're touching matter that has changed form countless times. The carbon in your breath was once inside a dying star. The calcium in your bones once shimmered in the shell of a supernova. The iron in your blood was forged in the heart of something that exploded before Earth was even a dream. And somehow, across billions of years and uncountable transformations, those atoms still obey the same patterns, the same delicate laws that were born in the first moments after the Big Bang. It's as if matter itself is dreaming, replaying the same symphony over and over, trying endless variations until it becomes something that can look back and wonder what the music means. Perhaps that's what life is. The universe hearing its own rhythm for the first time. Inside every atom, particles are never still. Electrons blur around their nuclei like clouds of probability. Their behavior isn't predictable, only possible. They shift, exchange energy, swap partners in invisible dances that have been going on since the dawn of time. And yet, from that quantum chaos, stability emerges. Rocks form. Oceans hold their shape. You exist. Out of uncertainty, meaning arises. Out of motion, stillness finds a form. Maybe the lesson is simple. Even when the smallest parts of you are restless, the whole can still be calm. Far above, the galaxies move. Not spinning plates on a cosmic stage, but vast spirals of dust and fire drifting through expanding space. They look frozen in telescopes, but each one is moving hundreds of thousands of kilometers every second. Whole worlds sweeping past in silence. Some of them are destined to collide. When galaxies meet, they don't crash like solid things. They pass through one another. Their stars slipping between like ghosts, while gravity sculpts new shapes from the chaos. For a few 100 million years, the two become one. A luminous storm of stars birthing and dying faster than ever before. And then they settle. Calmer. Larger. Older. Even destruction here is gentle. It makes room for something new. On a small blue world, life found a rhythm of its own. The oceans began to breathe, waves rising and falling like lungs, salt water shimmering in the sun. Beneath those waves, simple cells learned to turn light into energy. Photosynthesis, the quiet miracle that keeps everything alive. A photon, a single particle of ancient light, travels across space, lands on a green leaf, and disappears. But it doesn't die. Its energy is caught, transformed, stored. That same light becomes sugar, food, warmth, movement, thought. Every living thing you've ever known is powered by those tiny acts of light being remembered. Even the rain falling outside began as vapor lifted by the sun's energy. Light turned into weather, into life, into motion. The universe doesn't just host life, it learns through it. Every cell that divides, every mind that wonders, every moment of kindness, all of it is the cosmos exploring itself. Softly, carefully, one heartbeat at a time. And when life rests, when the world goes dark and quiet, it doesn't stop existing. It transforms again. Deep inside the human mind, electrical storms slow to gentle waves. Your neurons fire more slowly. Your breathing evens out. But your brain doesn't switch off. It begins to dream. In that dream state, your mind rearranges everything it's learned, replays memories, untangles meaning from the noise. It's strange, isn't it? Even in our deepest rest, we remain active. Sleep isn't the opposite of awareness. It's another kind of awareness, one that turns inward. The universe dreams through you too. Every thought, every image, every sound that floats through your half-sleep is part of the same great pattern. The pulse that shaped galaxies is now sketching worlds behind your eyelids. And maybe that's why the sound of rain feels so comforting. It reminds the nervous system of rhythm, of cycles, of returning. Each drop, each tiny impact, is a miniature echo of creation. A small, gentle Big Bang repeated endlessly outside your window. You are not separate from that. You are the quiet in which the rain falls, the awareness that notices it, the pattern that dreams itself back into being, night after night. When you close your eyes and drift away, the universe keeps working. Through atoms, through stars, through you. The universe is still awake. And your dreams are the proof. Consciousness. The one thing in the universe we cannot escape and cannot explain. We can describe its mechanics, its chemistry, its waves and patterns, but not the spark itself. The strange feeling of being you. Science can map the brain in exquisite detail. We can trace how neurons fire when we see or hear or remember. We can measure brainwaves, split atoms, bend space, and simulate thought. But no one knows how awareness arises. How a universe made of blind particles suddenly opens its eyes and says, I am. Maybe it isn't a byproduct of matter. Maybe it's the other way round. Perhaps consciousness came first, the field within which the physical world appears, not the other way around. Some physicists, some philosophers, even some neuroscientists are starting to whisper that idea again. That mind might not emerge from the brain, but the brain might focus mind, like a radio tuning to a signal that was always there. If that's true, then everything we see, the stars, the planets, the oceans, the rain, is consciousness experiencing itself through different forms. Light isn't just waves. It's awareness stretching across time. Matter isn't just energy. It's awareness slowed down enough to touch itself. And life isn't an accident. It's the cosmos remembering that it exists. You are not a spectator in this universe. You are a participant. When you look up at the stars, you're not looking outward. You're looking inward, into another part of yourself. Because every atom in your eyes was once part of those stars. Consciousness is not contained by your skull. It's woven through everything. It's the medium in which space and time unfold. Some call it the universal mind. Others call it God, or the source, or the field. Science may one day find a more technical name, a new equation to describe how experience arises from information. But names don't matter. What matters is that awareness is everywhere, quietly holding the whole thing together. Think about a wave in the ocean. It seems separate, distinct, individual, but it's made entirely of the sea. It rises, it falls, it disappears, and the ocean remains. Consciousness is the same. You are a temporary wave in the great sea of awareness. You rise, live, feel, love, fade, and the ocean continues, carrying the memory of every wave within it. That's why consciousness feels eternal, because it is. It's not owned by any one creature or brain. It's the backdrop against which all experience unfolds. It has been here since the first vibration, the first light, the first atom, and it will still be here when the last star goes dark. Even when you sleep, awareness never truly vanishes. It only changes shape. Dreams, silence, thought, and stillness are all part of its rhythm. The inhale and exhale of existence. When you wake each morning, It's the universe opening its eyes again. When you close them at night, it's simply returning to itself. We often wonder what happens when we die. But consciousness might never die. It might only change perspective, shifting from one form to another, like light passing through a prism. The story continues, because the storyteller never ends. So tonight, as the rain falls and your mind drifts between waking and sleep, remember this. You are not small. You are not separate. You are the awareness in which galaxies bloom, in which atoms dance, in which thoughts arise and fade like clouds across the night. You are the cosmos, aware of itself for a little while, pretending to be human. And that awareness, your awareness, is ancient, vast, and free. It has no edges, no beginning, no end. It is the space in which everything happens. It is the silence beneath the sound, the light behind the eyes, the stillness that watches the rain. The universe is still awake. It always was. And consciousness is the reason why. So breathe. Let go. The rain will keep falling. The stars will keep burning. And awareness, this quiet, luminous awareness, will keep watching it all. Forever. Time is patient, more patient than stars, more patient than life. It stretches forward endlessly, turning light to shadow and shadow to silence. In the far future, the galaxies will drift apart until their light no longer reaches one another. The night will grow darker, colder, emptier. Stars will burn through their fuel, collapse, fade, and cool to black. The universe will become a sea of dark matter, black holes, and scattered remnants of everything that ever lived. And yet, even then, motion continues. Black holes will leak away their energy through Hawking radiation, releasing the faintest trickle of heat back into space. Quantum fluctuations will still flicker in the vacuum, birthing and erasing particles in an eternal whisper. Entropy will rise, but never quite reach the end. The universe will never fully stop. It will just become quieter. A memory of light drifting on the breath of time. Maybe that's not something to fear. Maybe that's rest. Every story finds stillness eventually. But stillness isn't the same as nothing. The music of existence fades, but it never ends abruptly. It dissolves into its own echo. And in that echo, everything remains connected. The stars, the atoms, the raindrops, the dreams. When the last light fades, there will still be rhythm. A heartbeat too soft to measure, too deep to silence. The universe is still awake. Always has been. Always will be. So tonight, as the rain falls and the world grows still, remember, you are part of this great persistence. Your thoughts, your breath, your warmth, all borrowed from a cosmos that never learned to sleep. You are made of the same light that began this journey 14 billion years ago. You are that light, slowed and softened, learning to dream. Rest now if you wish. The universe will keep the watch, because even in silence, even in darkness, even at the end of time, the universe is still awake. Before there was a sun, there was dust. Cold, ancient dust, drifting in a vast cloud that had been gathering for billions of years. Every grain of it was a relic of some older star, a corpse of light scattered across the Milky Way. One day, a nearby star exploded, its shockwave rippling through the cloud, stirring it into motion. The dust began to fall inward, pulled by gravity, spiraling toward its center. As it fell, it heated, and the heart of that cloud began to glow. That was the beginning of our sun. Around it, the leftovers, gas, rock, ice, metals, began to circle, flattening into a thin, shining disk. Tiny particles collided and stuck together, like snowflakes on a window. Each impact made something a little bigger, a little warmer, a little rounder. Over millions of years, those fragments grew into worlds. The inner planets stayed small and rocky. The outer ones swallowed gas and grew into giants. In that time, our solar system was chaos. Millions of newborn worlds and fragments smashing together, trading orbits, colliding, reforming. It was violent but necessary. From that storm of destruction came stability. The planets found their lanes. The sun's light steadied. And slowly, a family of worlds emerged from the wreckage. Among those worlds was Earth, a molten sea of lava beneath a red sky. Not long after it formed, something the size of Mars slammed into it. The impact was apocalyptic. Mountains turned to vapor. Oceans of rock splashed into space. But gravity does not waste its debris. The shattered pieces began to circle Earth, drawn together again, forming a bright, glowing ring that cooled and coalesced into our moon. That single collision changed everything. The moon steadied Earth's spin, slowed its rotation, and locked in the rhythm of the tides. It gave the oceans a heartbeat. It may even have helped life itself emerge by keeping the planet's climate gentle enough for chemistry to flourish. Further out, Mars was forming too. Smaller, quieter, but rich with promise. It once had rivers that cut canyons and seas that shimmered under a warm sky. Its magnetic field shielded it from the sun's rage, and for a time, it might have been blue and green, alive. But Mars cooled faster than Earth. Its core stopped churning. Its magnetic shield faded. And without that protection, the solar wind stripped its atmosphere away. The seas boiled off. The rivers dried. The surface froze. If life ever took hold there, it was driven underground or into extinction. Today, only its scars remain. Dry deltas, ancient shorelines, whispers of what once might have been. The solar system itself has settled into middle age now. The sun is steady, content, fusing hydrogen into helium in its core. Its light warms 8 major planets, dozens of moons, and billions of comets and asteroids. It has burned for 4.5 billion years, and it has roughly the same left to go. One day it will grow old, swell into a red giant, and cast its outer layers into space. But tonight, It burns clean and calm, neither young nor dying, just stable. The planets move in quiet procession, each bound by the sun's gravity, each keeping its place in the endless dance. From dust to flame to worlds, everything that exists here began in the same breath. When you look at the moon, or the glow of Venus after sunset, you're seeing pieces of that ancient storm, still shining, still circling. The solar system is not static. Asteroids still wander. Comets still fall inward, shedding tails of light. But compared to its youth, it is peaceful now. A mature cosmos, settled into routine. Middle-aged, but far from finished. The sun still hums at the center. Patient, eternal, and awake. And just like the wider universe, it, too, will one day rest. But not yet. For now, it watches over its planets like a heartbeat that learned how to shine. The sun is patient, but not eternal. Deep inside, it's quietly running out of hydrogen, the simple fuel that has burned without pause for 4.5 billion years. Each second it fuses 600 million tons of hydrogen into helium, and with every reaction, it changes. Very slowly it grows brighter. The light that feels so steady to us is, in truth, a growing flame. 1 billion years from now, that brightness will double. Earth will shimmer with unbearable heat. Oceans will thin to steam, the sky will whiten, the clouds will vanish. Life will fight for shade and depth, retreating underground, underwater, or into machines. But for a long time yet, there will still be life. Stubborn, adaptive, finding new forms in the rising light. Mars by then may thaw again. Its frozen poles will melt. The old riverbeds might fill once more, the deserts turning into seas under a faint orange sky. The planet that lost its warmth may borrow it back, briefly, from the sun's dying generosity. Out beyond, the gas giants will shine softly. Jupiter's moons, Europa, Ganymede, Callisto, will warm enough for their icy crusts to melt into oceans. Each could become a world of drifting blue, hidden beneath thin skies. Even Titan, circling Saturn, might awaken, its methane seas boiling off, replaced by warm water and haze. For a time, the solar system will bloom again. New seas, new atmospheres, new chemistry. The twilight of the sun will bring one last wave of creation. But the fuel will continue to run out. Hydrogen gives way to helium, helium to carbon. The balance between gravity and heat will finally collapse. The sun will swell, its outer layers expanding outward until they reach Mercury's orbit, then Venus, and finally Earth. Our world will be engulfed. The mountains will liquefy. The crust will peel away like mist in the wind. Earth will vanish back into the star that once gave it life. Yet even that destruction is part of the pattern. The sun will shed its outer layers into space, forming a great glowing shell, a planetary nebula, like a cosmic flower opening for one last time. At its center will remain a white dwarf, small, dense, brilliant, a pearl of light shining in the middle of its own ashes. Around it, the surviving planets, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, will continue to orbit serene and slow under the dim glow of the white dwarf. Far beyond, Pluto and the icy Kuiper belt will drift on, their frozen surfaces sparkling faintly under that pale sun. The solar system will endure, ghost-like, long after its parent star has quieted. And even that isn't an end. In the distant future, the sun's nebula will spread out, its atoms mixing with the interstellar medium, the great ocean of gas and dust between stars. Those atoms will wander for billions of years, until gravity calls them home again, gathering them into new clouds, new stars, new worlds. One day, somewhere, a planet will form from what was once Earth. Its stones, its air, its life, recycled into a new dawn. That's how the universe works. Nothing is truly lost. Energy changes form, patterns fade and return, and even death becomes another kind of creation. The solar system will not die. It will simply transform, as it always has. From chaos to order, from light to dust, to light again. When we look at the night sky, we are seeing that endless cycle frozen in a single moment. Every point of light a reminder that destruction and creation are just different verses of the same song. Our star will join that song one day, its music echoing through the galaxy, whispering that it too was once awake. And as the last ember of the sun cools, when its glow finally fades into darkness, it will still hold the memory of warmth, the memory of light, the memory of us, tiny beings who once looked up through the rain and realized that the universe never sleeps. The universe is still awake. And somewhere, so are we.